Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's Ashley J's, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ashley J. Today we are chatting about how to nurture relationships. Last week we talked about how to build relationships. This time we're talking about how to nurture them. So let's start chatting. Once you have found love, be it a romantic or a loving friendship, that love needs to be nurtured. Nurture, which, I always try to educate you guys or give you the definition of stuff. I'll say that. Nurture is the process of caring for and encouraging the growth or development of someone or something. Now, if you notice, there's a pattern that I am establishing. They are all about it's all about healthy relationships because that's what we need right now. We need healthy relationships. It's time out for all the negativity. Also, you will see that out in the world right now. People are tired of the way of the negativity that is being spread around the world. So we are working on building healthy relationships, and I want to help with that because I'm sure there are people out there who do not know what it means to build a healthy relationship, and I want to be able to teach that and show you guys how to do that. Okay, so stick with me. All right. There are quite a few ways that you can nurture your relationship. There's a lot of ways. First, have an open and honest conversation. In order to have a strong relationship, you have to be able to communicate with one another and be kind. So, communication, I'm sure you have heard, is key in every relationship. And build when you're nurturing your relationship, it, like I said before, be it a romantic relationship or just a loving friendship, you have to communicate. That's the only way, first of all, that you can build on that relationship. And to keep it healthy, you have to have open discussions. Those open discussions will let you listen to what maybe your friend is complaining about, or what they feel like could be better in the relationship. So you have to have open relationships and be open to possibly making a change if it's needed, right? And also, it'll help you strengthen your relationship because you know what the other person is thinking. It's not a guessing game. We don't want to leave our friendships, have our friendships as guessing games, because that's not going to be a good relationship. It'll turn out, pretty bad because one person is thinking that maybe they should do this, but the other person is like, hey, no, that's not what I like. So we had to communicate and have that open discussion with them. And be kind. You know, kindness is sometimes, I feel like it's sometimes a forgotten trait to have. And in order for you to build on those relationships that you are establishing, you have to have kindness. And kindness is, it's important, because that makes you approachable to people, and people will want to listen to you because you're kind to them. Okay. Also, be willing to have disagreements. Everyone is prone to have disagreements. If you can think of yourself and have your own opinions, think for yourself, I'm sorry, and have your own opinions, then you will have a disagreement. It doesn't matter how long you've been together, it doesn't matter how long you've had that friendship. Everyone is going to have a disagreement. Now, what you do with those disagreements is what helps to nurture the relationship. So those disagreements can be solved. They don't have to be the end of your relationship. You can continue to be friends. You can continue to have that romantic relationship even though you had a disagreement. I remember there was one relationship that I've talked to you guys about before, the toxic relationship. And whenever we had a disagreement, it could be me saying, you know what, the sky is really blue today, and him turning around and saying, no, it's gray. And just from that simple distinction that both of us have about what, or I don't want to say distinction, but perception that both of us have about the day, he would say, okay, that's the end of our relationship. He told me one time he actually said to someone that asked him if he was in a relationship, and he said, I don't know. We just had an argument, so I don't know if she's still my girlfriend. So you have to be able to have disagreements, guys. It's not the end of everything if you have a disagreement. Try to work through that disagreement. Like I mentioned before, if you need to change something, well, go ahead and change it. If this is a relationship that you value, if you value this relationship, then you're going to do what you need to do in order to make it work. So that means that you're going to have to change. And remember that you guys don't think the same way. So if you don't think the same way, you don't have the same opinions or the same outlook on life, then you're bound to disagree. So just keep that in mind, okay? We're not all robots. So everything is not going to go, routinely and systematically when you're in relationships. Also, once again, have fun. I mentioned that again because having fun is all the parts, tongue twister. Having fun is part of having a relationship. Like I mentioned to you in the previous episode, that it's stale when you have a friendship, a relationship with someone, and you guys are always having deep conversations. Those are good when they're needed, but there are times when you need to kick back, laugh, joke around, be silly, act like kids at times, and just have a good time with one another. Sometimes that is needed, and you have to be willing to do that. Also, you want to share the life lessons you've learned with one another. So you can talk about, say, that real tragic thing that happened, or it may not even have to be tragic. It could be just a lesson learned that you guys experienced together. At the time, it wasn't a good, you didn't think of it as a lesson, but in retrospect, you sit back and you think about it and you're like, you know what, yeah, that was a good lesson. That was something that we needed to learn and something that we needed to go through in order for us to mature in our relationship together, in order for us to learn about one another. Because when you get into situations with friends and with romantic partners, you get to see how they handle things. Some people are not good at handling crisis. Some people are great at it. And there's people who, when the pressure is put on them, they break. So you need to know how you guys react to these different situations. That way, when they come up again, you know what to expect. So if you're in a romantic relationship, let's just say, and you have a crisis that happens, say, God forbid, but say somebody's parent died. So you will have to step up and be there for that person. And they'll remember how you are or how you were during that situation. And that can work out to your advantage, because if this is somebody that you truly value and somebody that you really want to build a relationship and keep it strong and eventually marry, they'll remember that time that you needed somebody and they were there for you and gave you a shoulder. Or if somebody, say one of the partners got fired from their job, and the pressure is on because you know that one income is not going to make the help keep the house going. So the pressure is on to find another job. Now, how they react to the pressure is what's going to be the telltale sign of how they react in those situations if it comes up again. So you keep that in the back of your memory. And also, you want to also keep that in mind, because they you'll know where you want to pick up, where you need to pick up where they're weak, right? You need to pick up on that weakness, and maybe you're really strong in that area. So you pick up on that area and you help them with it, help them get through it. I hope I'm not sounding like I'm babbling, guys. Also, be supportive and validating. This will lift you up. Okay, so you have to support them. This is kind of what I was just talking about. Be supportive, be there for them, help them through those times where they need you, and even when they don't need you, or they say they don't need you, be there anyway. Be supportive and validate them. Let them know, hey, you're great. You're doing a great job, or you're so much stronger than you believe you are. Validate them, make them feel good. And also, it's going to help you feel good as well by being able to let them know, hey, I got you. Okay. Also, love, intimacy, sex, and romance. These 4 factors are what makes a romantic relationship, what it is. You cannot have a romantic relationship without one of those. You can have one, but it won't be a great relationship. You have to make sure you incorporate those things within your relationship. Share your goals and dreams. Don't accomplish them secretly or alone. So with that, you want to be open about what you want for your future. And hopefully that will be what they want for their future. Okay? So be open about your goals and let them support you with those goals. Okay? Let them help you get those dreams and visions to become reality. They may be reality in your mind, but make them reality, actual reality, putting them into the process of becoming what you want them to become. Okay? And also, compassion, acceptance, and forgiveness must exist in your relationship. There are many times, there's many times that you're going to have to forgive. I know this for sure. There's things that you're going to have to forgive your partner about and your friend about. You have to have compassion, because there are times that it might be the same thing that you have to forgive over and over again. So you have to have compassion for them and accept them for who they are. If they are doing this, then this could be something that they know about. This is could be something, a way that they were raised, and they don't know how to change from that. So you have to accept them for who they are and help them along. Be compassionate. Don't be, mean and ugly about what is happening. Be able to make mistakes and then discuss them. Learn to let them go. So, we're not perfect. We're going to make a mistake, but like I said before, what you do with that mistake is what matters. So you might make a mistake, and it could be a big, huge mistake, but you have to discuss the mistake with your partner, and then not just discuss it, but also you gotta let it go and learn from that mistake so you don't do it again. Don't hold on to those mistakes, because you don't need to throw it in that person's face every time that they look like they're remotely going to do that same thing that they just messed up with. So you have to learn how to let that go. Don't hold on to it, because you may turn this relationship into a negative relationship and an unhealthy relationship by holding on to it. Also, you want to under-promise and over-deliver. This will help you not to disappoint that person. So, my husband has this thing where he says he doesn't want to make promises because he doesn't want to disappoint anybody if he can't go through with that promise. So, that is under-promising. You say, okay, yeah, I'll try to go ahead and get that done. Right? Don't say, I promise I'm going to do this. Say, I'll try to go ahead and get that done for you, or I'll work on it. Right? And then when it's when it's time to deliver, you go ahead and over deliver and do something that is overly, like, over their expectations of what they had. You want to be higher than what their expectations were. Okay, so under promise, over deliver. This will help you not to disappoint the person that you care about. And finally, you don't want to jump to conclusions. So you don't want to jump to conclusions because conclusions can ruin things. If you go through with those conclusions and you do it all the time, you can destroy your relationship. And don't just talk. Okay, if you think that something may be not right with what's going on between the two of you, don't assume that they're cheating or they found somebody else that can be a better friend to them. No, don't assume that. Talk to them and tell them what you think could be wrong. And it may not even be what you think. It may not be what you think it is. It could be they are, really bogged down with work or school or whatever. So you want to not don't jump to conclusions because things can turn ugly if you do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I really, really, really appreciate you being here with me and talking to me, chatting with me. Not talk, we chat. Thank you for being here. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.